Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Bacon Wrap Baby Back Ribs. Well, I've got a really fun one for you guys today that's great for your get-togethers, your outdoor cookouts, anytime you're hanging out during the summer, doing a little barbecue. This one is sure to impress. I can tell you when we tested it here at ATBBQ, the staff went nuts for it, and so will your friends and family. I'm talking about bacon-wrapped baby back ribs. And honestly, it's really simple. You're gonna take a rack of ribs, slice them individually, wrap them up in bacon and get them seasoned, throw them on the smoker and forget about them for about 3.5, 4 hours, and then they're coming off sauced, individual bites, so it's great for parties. Pick one up off the plate. Salty, sweet, smoky, delicious goodness. Let me stop talking about it. Let's start doing it. So here we've got our rack of baby back ribs. First thing I'm gonna do is get this membrane off the back side so that we're not chewing on it later. Try and get a hold of that with the end, or a little piece of paper towel here. And then hopefully we can get it all at one pull. Looks good. And then from here, we're just gonna start slicing ribs. So just going right in between each one of these bones. It's nice from the back side, you can see any little bit of chine bone that might be down there. So a lot of times you'll have the end of the bone and then a little extra nubbin there on the back side. You can really see where that is and cut around it. Now we're ready to get these seasoned up. We're gonna start with a little layer of our Fatali mustard from Chile Slinger. You're gonna see this again later as we baste it on the outside. We're gonna do these a couple different ways. We'll get them all seasoned, wrapped in bacon, throw them on and smoke them, and then at the end you can either choose to season these with a sweet barbecue sauce or a mustard sauce, and we'll do both today. So initially that's just kind of your binder, but we'll see it come back into play a little later. Now we're gonna do a 2-rub combination today, something a little bit sweeter and something a little bit saltier. We're starting with the Texas Sugar barbecue rub from Meat Church. It's a nice fine layer to give it a little bit of sweetness right there on the surface. So this will kind of caramelize as it cooks, but it's protected by the bacon so it won't ever scorch. So second rub up, we've got the Yoder Smokers pork rub, just great all around pork rub. We're not gonna go too heavy because of course there's salt in these rubs, there's salt in bacon. We don't wanna overwhelm the palate with salt, which is also why we're gonna balance this out with some sauce in the end, even though I'm not even usually like a huge sauce guy when it comes to ribs. These kind of live in between dry ribs and wet ribs. They're more like a sticky dry rib. All right, so that's good. Let's wrap these things up with bacon. We've got classic cut bacon, not thick cut. It's essentially gonna become a part of the bark on the outside of the rib. And if you can just kind of tuck the ends in as that bacon cooks and shrinks up, it just attaches itself to the rib so you don't have to worry about pinning it down. This bacon's not super cold either, which makes it easier for it to stretch. And then you can cover an entire rib with one slice of bacon. Last one here. Just hit all of these with just a little bit more pork rub, not a lot, just enough for a little bit of color. Today we're cooking on the Yoder Smokers Ys480s pellet grill. It's running at 275 degrees with the contest mix of cherry and pecan pellets. We're gonna give each one of these a little bit of space for smoke to get around. And like I said, this process is probably gonna take about 3.5 to 4 hours. And that difference right there is really in the size of each rib. Some of them are much meatier than others. So I'm gonna throw a probe into one of these just to kind of keep track of where temperatures are at. I know that these ones right next to the stack are likely to finish first, just because that heat and that air moves so fast right there. So that's why we're gonna put a probe in this one right here in front of the stack. Just trying to get it positioned just right. Now we can watch that, monitor that on the app and see where our temperatures are at. Really, we're looking for somewhere above 200 degrees when they're done. Well, we're coming up on 3 hours on this cook right now, And all of these ribs over here to the right by the stack, like we talked about earlier, getting close to about 200 internal temperatures. So I want to move those. We're going to swap them with the other side. The left side cooking, not quite cooking so hot. So we'll even things out by swapping them. And then these guys are ready to go ahead and get painted with some sauce. Now, like I said, we're going to do 2 different sauces today. The first is the mustard sauce, the Fatali mustard that we used earlier as a binder. We'll go ahead and start with that one. And then we'll also have a sweet sauce here in a little bit that we'll start to paint on these other guys as they come up to temperature a little bit higher. If we're just looking at these, trying to find the deep spot. 180-ish. So we got a little ways to go on those middle ones. Well, our bacon wrapped ribs on the right side of the grill are starting to look good now. So we're gonna paint them up with some Slinger Chipotle barbecue sauce. It's a sweet tomato based barbecue sauce with a little Chipotle smoky kick. These are all looking pretty nice. Shouldn't need a whole lot more time. I'm gonna finish these off with the mustard sauce. Let's go ahead and hit these ones that have already been hit once on the other side. We'll let that tack up and these ones are going to be done. Just a few minutes. The last of these bacon wrapped ribs are ready to come off. Temping around 200. Let's get these off here and get a taste. All right, I'm gonna go for a mustard rib because I love some pork and mustard. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect bite through. Comes away from the bone, but not falling apart. It's got all of the flavor of a great baby back rib, but then that bacon goodness on the outside. Man, that is a tasty little snack right there. I'll turn your frown upside down. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you enjoy the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.